This one goes back to, I guess, I was probably maybe 13 or something like that. I've got an older brother, he's about 4.5 years older, so he was driving, and at that age I started what has become a lifelong tradition of late Christmas shopping. So this was Christmas Eve, and my brother and I, we grew up in New York on Long Island, and we would drive out to my uncle's house in New York City every year for Christmas Eve. So the rest of our family went. My brother and I had to do some shopping because we hadn't done any. Went to Roosevelt Field Mall, which is actually still there, amazingly, out on Long Island, and finished up our shopping, just tore through the mall, did all the stuff, and we come back to the car, and he doesn't have his keys. And I remember, like I said, I was 12 or 13 at the time, and I was like, oh my God, there's no Christmas. Christmas is over. And and then he just stayed calm, and we went back into the mall, and we just retraced our steps one by one, and we found the keys underneath this little jewelry display where we had been when we first started shopping, getting jewelry for somebody. And it was one of those things where I learned, like, when something like that happens, you don't have to fall apart necessarily, and the world is not going to collapse on you. You just kind of keep your head and you go back, retrace your steps, and a lot of times things work out okay. We got back into the car and we drove, and we were maybe a half hour late, but Christmas still came that year. Everybody got their presents and it was okay. Another Christmas memory I have, and this is, I guess this would go back 27 years ago now, is that I proposed to my wife on Christmas Eve. And I did that because when I was a teenager, I remember going over to a friend's house on Christmas Eve, and his mom was there, and she was sitting there with this just incredibly contented smile on her face. And I said, "What's going on?" And she said, "Oh, Kenny just proposed to Mary, who was her daughter." So they're divorced now, but my wife and I are still together. But I always thought it was a cool thing to, propose or, plan to get married on Christmas Eve, so that's what I did.